So we're about to light this RV up like Christmas. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Wayne from Fade to Black. Now, if you're new to the channel, I run a business in Wisconsin. I tint windows, I sell accessories. I kind of call it an auto restyling business. So some of the things we do: window tint, vinyl wrap, rims and tires, suspension parts, sales and installation, and like to sell some LEDs. Now, when you have a business, of course you want to have products that you know and that you trust and that you can rely on, so that you want to sell it, someone can install it, they can use it and not have any problems with it. So over the last so many years, I try to be able to, I guess, help my customers out. There's certain companies I follow and I watch, and I wanted to make sure that they had a nice product, no complaints, a lot of good reviews before I stepped up and said I want to carry that product in my business. Because if I carried it and I had a lot of problems with it, or it wasn't that good of a product, then of course it's going to bring more problems back onto me. So, window tint has been cool. We got that down, that's all good. Rims and tires, I go through Wheel Pro. I can get a lot of different other brands, Black Diamond, Hard Rock, that's all good. LEDs, I like to use LightWrap products. Now, I'm gonna make videos on all this over time, so that's why I keep on telling people, subscribe to the channel so you do not miss that. But now I wanted an LED product. And back in the day I had LEDs on certain cars, but now I want to kind of step the game up. I think LEDs look cool. Some people don't like them, but you know, it is what it is. So I found the Boogey lights. I was watching them for a while and I said, you know what? I want to go with that. I don't want to do an Amazon kit with the smaller LEDs. I've watched videos of why Boogey lights have different, the way they make their products is a lot different than just a strip from Amazon. So I told myself, I'm gonna get hooked up with Boogey lights. I wanna sell their kits and I wanna install it on my own. Now, this is what I'm gonna be installing on. Let's go check it out. So behind me is a 41-foot motorhome. Now, this is old school. We went back a little bit. This has a big diesel motor in it, 3 slides, semi-truck frame, air ride. This thing is crazy. And you know what? One of the things when you're sitting with the RV at a campground or at a park or lit up at nighttime and the thing's lit up, to me, that just looks cool. Now, Boogey Lights also makes truck kits for cars, golf carts, pull behind campers. They make it for all. So I think in one place, you can get a lot of different things. So I'm gonna be installing a Boogey Light kit on the front, the rear, and both sides of this motorhome. Now, I got the kit that's gonna be able to do 7 different colors and go dim and go light, and you'll be able to control it with the remote control key fob. So it's gonna be crazy. So if this thing is parked, it's gonna be glowing like crazy. So I'm excited for that. So I went with the multicolor RV Boogey Lights kit. I'll leave a link in the description down below. So basically what I got is 2 16-foot LED strips that are gonna go along the side of the motorhome. Then I got an 8-foot that's gonna go on the front, and then I got a 4-foot that's gonna go on the rear. And also I got this aluminum track. So on the bottom of the motorhome, we know that it's not gonna be a clean, good surface. So I'm gonna take this track, I'm gonna lay the LED in here, and I'm just gonna drill these into the bottom of the motorhome. So I got some self-tappers to get that in. I got some primer that's gonna coat this and make the LED stick really well. Now also in here, you got a controller unit that all the 4 LED strips are gonna run back to this controller unit. And this control unit also has, as you can see in here, it has a remote control key fob, lets you control all the different functions. It's the Boogey Light kits. Now, I don't know how long it's gonna take me to get this kit installed. So right now I'm just gonna go over everything. I'm gonna look at the instructions. I'm gonna start mounting some of the aluminum, and then I can show you guys that when I get some of that all done and installed. The back is gonna be a little bit tricky. I'm gonna try to rig it up a little bit. I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna do it. The front has some steel tubing because the generator is mounted there, so I can go right across there. I'll probably have to trim down one of these aluminum pieces to get it to fit perfectly. I want it to be as long as the LED strip up in front as I possibly can. But these LED strips you can cut. There are marks where you can cut them, so you can cut them down to fit perfectly. There's an awning kit. Some people put them under their slides. It goes crazy. So right now I was just touching base on this kit. I'm gonna try to get some of this stuff installed. It might be a different day, but I'm gonna compile the whole video so you guys can see the whole installation, how it looks when it's running. All right, so I managed to get one side of the aluminum track that I wanted to put down on each side of the coach. Like all the LED is gonna be mounted on a little piece of aluminum because the aluminum is just clean. What I'm gonna do is clean with alcohol. I'm gonna put that 3M adhesion promoter, and then when I lay the LEDs inside that little track, it should stick well. And that's what they recommend that you do in the instructions too. So I'm gonna try my best to show you guys this. I got a piece of track, 2 pieces of track, 18-foot LED strips, so 2 pieces of 8-foot track, 16 feet of course. I ran them down the whole bottom side of the coach here. I just screwed them in. I gotta do the other side, and then like I said, I'll do the front, and then we'll also do the rear. We're gonna mount all the LEDs to those tracks. So I finally got the installation wrapped up on the Boogey Lights LEDs. I think I probably got about 15 hours into it. That's kind of just working a little bit here and there. I knew what I had to do. I got all the tools, but it was this time. It got cold, so I couldn't just straightforward just go through and get it all done. So right now, let me just kind of show you how I ran my LEDs. The one thing you have to keep in mind, all the LED strips have to run back to the controller box, okay? The controller is what makes the LED lights do all the different things. So each RV or whatever you have is gonna vary. I mounted my controller right next to the batteries, and then I hooked them directly to the batteries. My LED from the rear and the LED from the front, actually the wire stopped, so I didn't get a long enough wire for the LED, so I had to order some wires and I had to extend them. Strip on the rear, I actually ran it down some lines from the engine, up over the rear axle, and then I came over to the battery compartment here where I have the controller mounted. So you can see this is where I have the controller mounted. I just ran a wire, mounted it to the batteries here to get 12 volts. I drilled 2 little small holes down there and came up through. The LED from the far side over there, I drilled up a hole, ran the wire through, drilled down to here, ran up underneath the bottom, and then came out through that hole. The rear LED strip, like I said before, I ran it through, ran it up over the axle, ran it under the belly, came up through that hole there. And then the front LED, I did the same thing, ran it up through the front, came down this way, and then popped it out in that hole there. So depending on the make and model of your motorhome or camper, like I said before, it's gonna vary how you mount the LEDs and how you mount the aluminum tube, so you can mount the LED strips too. So it's gonna vary. Like I had a front part underneath there. I could go straight across by the generator. I could mount my aluminum strip there. Actually in the rear of my coach, I actually just mounted mine right underneath this lip right here. So I have my LED strip and my piece of aluminum mounted right there, because on the bottom down here I really didn't have anything to mount the strip to. So I got a 4-foot strip that goes from here all the way to there, 4-foot strip on the back of there. On the front of the coach, I did manage to get an 8-foot strip that just ran across the bottom. It's really gonna be hard to see because it's really dark underneath there, but I got an 8-foot strip to go across the bottom. So like I said before, I have an 8-foot strip in the front on an 8-foot piece of aluminum. I got 2 16-foot strips on either side, and I got a 4-foot strip in the rear. So I have a total of 44 feet of LED strips on mine. It will vary depending on how you can mount on the front or the rear of the vehicle. Like I said, I just wanted to put a straight one across the rear. I had enough room to put a straight one across the front. So you're gonna wanna look at that before you mount or order, so you can kind of figure out what you're gonna need. Of course, on the bottom, it's just a straight 16 foot. So 16 foot fit perfectly all along the sides. And all my wires, I just ran them right along the bottom of here. I had wires that I could run. So for this one, I just ran the wiring from the front straight down the side of the coach. And then like I said, on the other side, I just drilled up and then ran that wire over the bay, down and over to the control box. So that was pretty straightforward. But you have to look at your RV or your coach to figure out what's the best way to mount them, because like I said, everyone is different. Sometimes they put 2 pieces in the front, or sometimes they put 2 pieces in the rear, but I just put a straight one in the rear and found a place to mount it. So you're gonna have to look and see which way to mount them is gonna be the best for you on your RV. Now I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this that well, but this little remote lets you turn it on with the remote. It lets you do different colors, so I can change the color by pressing this button. You can go through all the colors. You can go through the brightness and dim it down, and you can also go to different modes, and you can change the speed of those modes. So if it's flashing, doing different things, you can change the speed of that. You can make it pulsate and change colors slowly. So there's tons of different modes that you can do with the remote. So it's pretty cool. So the remote controls all that and the remote turns it off. So this kit has like 7 different colors, I think, and you can change all the colors by the remote. It's really cool. There's also an app that you can use with your phone. I haven't done that yet, but you can use your phone as well to control the colors. So I think it is really cool. I think it's just a little something that's gonna add extra when you park someplace. So I was really looking forward to getting this hooked up. Now I messed with stuff here and there, so I had a ton of butt connectors that I already were using. I had mounts to mount to the battery, I had some of that. One thing that you really are gonna need, you're gonna need a ton of zip ties. So just buy a ton of zip ties because you will zip tie the wire all along down the coach. I just zip tied them. I zip tied them up when I went up and around the rear axle. I zip tied them when I went up around the front. So definitely have zip ties, because that's one thing that you would need when you get the installation done. Honestly, the only holes that I drilled was a hole here and the hole on the other side over there, and then the holes there. Those are the only 4 holes I actually drilled into the RV. I did tap the aluminum underneath to mount the aluminum with self-tapping screws on the steel plate of the coat. So as you can see, I got the aluminum here, the LED strips. They run over there. They actually run right pretty much underneath my bay doors here. So they run all the way down. And then like I said, I was able to mount the 8-foot all the way down and run the wire up and around the axle, and tried to make sure you didn't put it by any close moving parts or anything that would be heat. So this is one piece of aluminum from here all the way down to 8-foot, and that's an 8-foot LED strip. So if anyone's thinking about putting the Boogey Light LEDs on their motorhome or something, hopefully this video helps you out. I tried to explain it the best I can. It's cool, it's a fun little project. It definitely takes some time, but you know, it's not overly complicated and it's not overly hard to do. But it just takes some time to get everything wired and kind of figure out what you're gonna need. Because like I said, it can vary between having an 8-foot strip in the front or a 6-foot or something, depending on the points that you can use to mount the aluminum and the LED strips. So, and you can also cut the LED strips. So if you just wanted to do like a 6-foot or a 4-foot, you could buy a certain dimension, a certain length, and then just cut it. You have tons of options. So I think it'd be cool to maybe get the awning option up there at some point. But we'll just see how it goes. We'll rock this for now, and then worry about that later. So if you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, smash that subscribe button. Also check out my vlog channel where I'm just doing day-to-day hustles and grinds every day of my day-to-day business. I greatly appreciate that as well. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and I'll try to get back to you and help you guys out any way I can. Thanks for watching. Stay faded. Peace.